Tallahassee, Hunter's Mill, Albany.
This is Eyewitness News at 5 on WCTV.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for Eyewitness News at 5. Well, Albert Lee Williams could go to prison for life. Today, a Leon County jury found him guilty of second-degree murder and 4 other counts stemming from a high-speed chase and crash that killed a baseball player last spring. Our Mike Sims was in the courtroom when the verdict was delivered. He now joins us live from the Leon County Courthouse. Mike?
Well, Sarah, the jury of 4 men and 2 women took about 3.5 hours to return that guilty verdict. They got the case about noontime today. They had to decide whether 29-year-old Albert Lee Williams acted with a depraved mind and without regard for human life when he caused the crash that killed 19-year-old Shannon Stewart at I-10 in Capitol Circle Northwest last spring. If so, they had to convict him, and that's what they did.
I think it was a good instinct on their part. They wanted to be sure of what they had to find in order to do their job, and I think they did the right thing.
Williams sat motionless in his chair as the guilty verdicts were read on all 5 counts stemming from cocaine possession to fleeing the police. His wife and family were also in court all week. Family of the victim, Shannon Stewart, have stayed in West Virginia, their home, because they say the pain of a trial was just too much to bear.
Mike, as for the next phase, any idea about the sentencing date for Williams?
Well, right now that date is tentatively set for May 8th, but that could change. And again, prosecutors say they will go after life in prison.
All right, thanks. Mike Sims live from the Leon County Courthouse, and we will be hearing more from him at 5:30 and 6 o'clock tonight. Well, in other news, it started as a routine traffic stop and ended up as the largest traffic stop drug bust in the history of Madison County, Florida. Now, just before 11 o'clock last night, deputies stopped a 97 Ford truck for minor traffic violations as the occupants traveled east on I-10. After investigating, police dogs ended up leading officers to hidden duffel bags of marijuana that contained nearly 1,200 pounds of pot. Authorities say that adds up to about $1.2 million worth of marijuana, or 4 times that amount on the street, which has since been taken to FDLE headquarters in Tallahassee. 52-year-old Earl Kent Lamb and his 47-year-old wife, Diana, of Port Charlotte, Florida, have been jailed in Madison County without bond and face a number of federal drug charges. We have an update to a late-night Southside shooting. Police may now know who the gunman is. Last night, Shonda Liffred was shot several times at her Surf Lacola Villa apartment complex. Crime scene investigators finished interviewing witnesses and have a description of a male suspect, but authorities can't confirm a positive identity. Now, if you have any information about what happened or who the gunman is, you're asked to call the Tallahassee Police Department at 891-4200. The mother of a toddler killed in an I-10 accident in Tallahassee yesterday continues to recover from her injuries. The early morning accident left 2-year-old Hunter Mazzola dead and his mother, Andrea, in critical condition. However, this afternoon, her condition was upgraded to serious, although she remains in Tallahassee Memorial's intensive care unit. The driver of the rig that hit the woman's car has been identified as 60-year-old Linus Edward Coleman of Pensacola. Charges against Coleman are still pending. For the past 8 years, a proposed primary seatbelt law in Florida has fizzled. This session, safety advocates are calling on lawmakers to approve the bill for the children. A primary seatbelt bill is moving through the House, but has not cleared all the hurdles. Supporters say the proposed law would increase seatbelt use and reduce the number of traffic injuries and fatalities. Safety advocates say the bill can also save children's lives.
Children mirror what those who know them best will do, and this primary seatbelt enforcement law sends a signal to children all over the state that those most responsible for their care want them to live and be well.
If passed, Florida drivers would be pulled over for not wearing seatbelts and giving a $30 to $60 fine. The bill will be heard next week by a House Criminal Justice Committee. It is yet to be heard in the Senate. The Georgia legislative session has finished up, and now representatives are headed back home to share the fruits of their labor in the General Assembly. But what did this year's session mean for South Georgia? Our Kate Turner now joins us from the newsroom with more on that story. Kate?
Sarah, Southwest Georgia legislators met today with their constituents in Cairo, and they tried to explain both the good and the bad that came out of the General Assembly this year. Now, of course, the very best news comes right from the desk of Governor Roy Barnes. The governor's One Georgia initiative will use tobacco settlement money to help South Georgia catch up economically with their counterparts to the north. The plan should give the stagnant South Georgia economy a much-needed boost.
The creation of a One Georgia Authority to provide funds for infrastructure and also to have bonding capacity to help local communities develop become attractive to prospective industry.
Other significant legislation includes a new committee to try to balance out environmental issues and farming needs, and of course the governor's somewhat controversial educational reform plan.
Now, Kate, I know you've been talking to a lot of people about this. What is kind of the general reaction to the education bill?
Well, Sarah, the jury is really still out on the verdict about how good this education reform plan is going to be, especially in grades K through 12. But some rural post-secondary schools like Thomas Tech are really getting a boost from it. They're getting some more money, and they're looking at a name change come this summer.
All right, thanks. Kate Turner live from our newsroom. In recognition of National Volunteer Week, Governor Jeb Bush met with the Florida Department of Elder Affairs Golden Choice Award recipients this morning. Now, the Florida Department of Elder Affairs honors 25 outstanding volunteers from across the state whose efforts improve the quality of life for older Floridians. The governor thanked the volunteers, including a 98-year-old woman who helps care for a 70-year-old senior. Bush also encouraged the seniors to mentor children. And there's a lot more to come in this half hour. Here's a preview of what you'll see on Eyewitness News at 5. Clear skies throughout our neck of the woods. At 9 past the hour, Mike will be checking in with Ken Brewer, who is live in the Bahamas. And at 5:19, Serena Williams is boycotting a tennis tournament in South Carolina. Rick Ratesh has the details on that story. And later on at 5:23, the historic downtown area of a city in Georgia is getting a facelift. We'll explain. Stay tuned to the coverage you can count on.
Mike McCall has been granted the American Meteorological Society's seal of approval for excellence in television weathercasting.
Here at Ken Isaac Chevrolet Cadillac, the 2000 Cadillacs have just been flying off the lot. And now we're loaded with all of these wonderful trade-ins. Here's a 98 Town Car Signature price to sell, a 97 Town Car one owner, a 95 Town Car with only 25,000 miles, and a 93 Continental Signature one owner. If you're looking for an extra clean, late model, pre-owned luxury car, you'll find it here at Ken Isaac Chevrolet Cadillac, where we pioneered selling for less.
Every home is made up of a number of different rooms. So leave it to Heilig Myers Furniture to create the one sale for every room. Need a living room? How about a family room? We've got them on sale. Like this lodge-style group, just $999.95. Get you the sofa, chair, cocktail table, and 2 end tables. And lots of other rooms are on sale, too. So one sale for every room in your home. From the one store for every home in America, Heilig Myers.
Listen. 2 great offers are now available on the 2000 Lincoln Town Car. Lease Town Car for 0 down at only $519 a month for 36 months with just $519 cash to its signing. Or get an impressive $1,500 cash back. Hurry, this offer ends soon. See your local Lincoln dealer today.
Welcome back. Mike is here with weather, and a pretty day out there. We had some clouds, but definitely a nice day to be outside.
Yeah, and finally some showers starting to develop. I kept waiting for them to come along, and a few of them are out there, but still a much better chance coming up tomorrow. Maybe a couple of changes towards the weekend, but if you're out and about this afternoon, it's actually pretty warm. Places like Valdosta, where you're currently sitting at 84 degrees, 81 in Tallahassee. Thomasville is at 79, also a 79 down in Perry, and a 76 down in Apalachicola, and 81 right now in Cross City. All right, let's check out the cloud cover. Now, this is the visible satellite loop, and again, we've got a couple different directions of clouds because of the levels. Now, the high clouds you see coming in from the southwest, not too many of those around, but lots of low-level clouds today. So the humidity values have been higher, and we've seen some showers and storms, but there's actually a little bit of a hole right here as far as the rainfall goes. We've had some showers to our east. The more numerous ones are still well to the west, about as expected, way over the western sections of the Panhandle. But if we go to a radar composite, go back to earlier this morning, you can see these showers and thunderstorms just lurking off here towards the west, and a couple of thunderstorms just now starting to develop way out towards Pensacola. But again, also over the eastern sections, a separate weather system spiraling some showers back into southeastern Georgia, and a few now have started to pop up from Valdosta up towards Moultrie and Tifton. So there are some showers around, not too many. We'll call it about a 30% chance for the rest of the evening hours, but tomorrow the system to our west will be almost on top of us, so a much better chance for some showers and some thunderstorms. Now, it's not just 2 areas, it's actually 3. A third area just where they need it, down over the Everglades, just about all of South Florida, at least seeing some rain and thunderstorm activity today. When you expand out a bit, that's it. The southeast has all the rainfall. Then you have to go way up towards the Great Lakes and out towards the northwest before you find that is some more rain mixed in with some snow. So there is some colder air lurking right across the Canadian border. Billings still 51, but 73 in Denver and a 71 in Kansas City. But you may have noticed that 51 in Atlanta. They're on the cool side of this. This is a very cool rain falling across eastern sections of Tennessee and into North Carolina. And the thunderstorms down here in the Gulf of Mexico, these are associated with an upper-level low that is slowly moving our way. Now, it'll weaken by the time it gets over here to us, but I think it'll have enough energy to give us that decent chance for some showers and storms. Now, as frontal boundary, all it did was just kind of focus the moisture. There's not going to be a whole lot left of it within 24 hours. Just about all of it dissipates, but leaves behind a lot of moisture. And with the upper-level system, that means a good chance for some rain, especially tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night, through Saturday morning. Doppler 6 radar on the live scan, as you might expect, showing some activity. There it is, just to the west of Quincy, and there are the showers I talked about earlier from Tifton down to around Valdosta. Those are not showing a whole lot of movement. So for tonight, your forecast, we're going to leave that chance of rain in there, about a 30% chance, a low temperature around 59. And then tomorrow, mostly cloudy, a good chance for some showers and some scattered thunderstorms. A little bit cooler, too, because of the clouds with a high around 76, but the rain chance is up there at a nice 60%. Probably not quite as high for Saturday and Sunday as the rain finally starts to depart.
But I know we need that rain, so I won't
Yes,
complain, that's for sure.
Yes, we do.
Well, stay with us because Mike McCall's going to be talking to Ken Brewer, who is live in the Bahamas right when we come back. Don't go away.
Change the name of Quincy to Truck City because the Thomas stores are selling over 300 trucks. Thomas Motor Cars has the best selection of GMCs, and prices have been cut on all of them. You'll make your best deal right now. At Thomas Motor Cars, you'll own a GMC 1500 or Sonoma Extended Cabs for $15,995. Our conversion vans start at $23,995. And you'll drive new Jimmys for just $279 per month. You'll always get your best deal, or we'll pay you $1,000. We guarantee it. Truck City is Quincy at the Thomas stores.
No matter what road you travel in the New South, you're sure to cross paths with the Dodge Dakota Quad Cab. J.D. Power & Associates ranked the Dakota most appealing in its class. Its available Magnum V8 is the only V8 in its class. In fact, in a lot of ways, Dakota is best in class. And with 4 big doors that open almost 90 degrees, this Dakota is both appealing and accommodating. So no matter what path you take or what path you make, in the New South, there's only one way to go. Dodge Dakota. Different.
All right, welcome back, everybody. And Ken Brewer, as you may have noticed if you've been watching the past couple of mornings, not doing the Good Morning show because he got a real nice assignment covering a hurricane conference down in the Bahamas. And Ken joins us now, and we're talking a little bit about what you've been covering. And Ken, I know that it's tough to concentrate on the conference with the great weather going on down there, but tell us a little bit about what you've been looking at so far.
Well, we're here at the islands of the Bahamas, Mike, in Pacific Paradise Island, and this is the Atlantis Resort behind me. And quickly, if you notice that little bridge suite up there, that's owned by Michael Jordan. And I know, Mike, you have some spare change to throw around, so for a mere $25,000 a night, you can enjoy this room. Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the hurricane conference that we've been studying so far. First of all, some of the 2 big topics. We've been analyzing some of the hurricanes from the past season. We've really been looking for ways to improve on some of those forecasts. Also been talking about ways to study past historical storms. There's a big study out that possibly might be changing some of the past winds that we thought happened in some of the past storms. So some of the big topics that we're covering here over the next several days, and we'll be continuing to keep it up, and hopefully it'll lead to some more useful information, especially when it comes into hurricane information. Hopefully we won't need it for our area.
Now, Ken, I know there's been a lot of talk about when they're categorizing hurricanes, that they always go from Category 1 to Category 5, but once they move inland, they drop those categories. But I know there's been a lot of discussion about the rain potential for categorizing these storms.
That's right. The Saffir-Sifford scale, as we all know, has been used to categorize the hurricanes, but as you mentioned, there really is a need to kind of give some sort of a risk assessment to the storms once they make inland. So there is a big debate to kind of come up with, if you will, a secondary scale for landfalling hurricanes to give people a danger. As you remember, Hurricane Floyd dumped over 2 feet of rain in some places in the Carolinas up to New Jersey. So certainly a big threat, and that caused a loss of life. In fact, more lives were lost in floods from that storm than actual storm surge, although storm surge still is the leading killer. So really a lot of information for researchers to look at, and today and once again tomorrow we'll be covering those topics once again.
All right, Ken, sounds like a lot of great stuff coming out of the conference down there in the Bahamas. We look forward to hearing more from you when you come back. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot, Mike. We'll talk to you later.
Okay. So, yeah, it's great stuff for Ken to be able to go down there and enjoy that. But,
tough assignment.
Yeah, of course, June 1st, hurricane season gets underway, and there's a good chance there'll be another active one for us.
Oh, boy. We'll look forward to that.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Mike. And stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break.
Some people you could always count on to be there for you. We were there when you fixed up your first car. And when you fixed up your first apartment. We were even there when you finally got fixed up yourself. So now that you're fixing more bottles than old cars, there's no one better to talk to about your changing life insurance needs than the State Farm agent you've always trusted to care for your car, your home, and you. State Farm is there for you because State Farm is there for life.
Plantation Manor, where every day is an opportunity for a new beginning, where life is lived to the fullest, where dreams still come true, where your todays are as bright as your yesterdays. Plantation Manor, an assisted senior living community with a secured wing for the memory impaired. Plantation Manor, beautiful downtown Thomasville.
Welcome back. We begin our look at news from around the region in South Florida. The Miami relatives of Elian Gonzalez have defied a 2 p.m. deadline to turn the child over to government officials. Meanwhile, crowds surrounded the home of Elian early this morning to begin their daily ritual of protest. Meanwhile, the Attorney General denied that there would be attempts to remove the child by force, despite rumors that have circulated for much of the day. Actor Andy Garcia and Gloria Estefan, both Cuban-American stars, spoke to the crowd calling for all Cuban Americans to stand by the family. Well, federal agents have been making dozens of arrests today to break up a ring in which a powerful Mexican gang and Jamaican traffickers in this country used FedEx to ship marijuana from California to East Coast markets, including Florida. Authorities say the drug ring corrupted employees of FedEx, and some of those employees have been arrested for assisting. Worried that those lacy things from Victoria's Secret aren't being kept much of a secret in high school classrooms? Well, school officials in Pinellas, Florida are considering a ban on visible underwear. Boxer shorts that show over boys' waistbands would be banned too, as would sports bras worn as tops or visible bra straps. The school board is discussing the unmentionables at today's meeting. First-time offenses would be given a warning, but students with numerous violations could be disciplined for defiance. Well, Rick Ratesh is up next, but first here's today's Talkin' Sports.
You're watching Eyewitness News with Rick Ratesh and the sports.
Some people you could always count on to be there for you. We were there when you fixed up your first car. And when you fixed up your first apartment. We were even there when you finally got fixed up yourself. So now that you're fixing more bottles than old cars, there's no one better to talk to about your changing life insurance needs than the State Farm agent you've always trusted to care for your car, your home, and you. State Farm is there for you because State Farm is there for life.
There was an old woman who lived in a suit. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. Yes, I do.
She should get the Big New Yorker from Pizza Hut. It's huge. Big enough for all your kids.
Really, it is.
Covered with cheese. You love cheese.
Kids love cheese.
And over a pound of cheese, just $8.99. Yeah. We can afford that.
How economical.
Hey, everybody's talking about the Big New Yorker pizza from Pizza Hut. 30% larger than a large, now even a bigger value, with over a pound of cheese for just $8.99.
That's chump change.
The Big New Yorker pizza, another one of the best pizzas under one roof.
Come and see Tie Camellias now in bud and bloom, only $4.95 each. New long-blooming tie-tie crepe myrtle trees, 7-gallon size, $7.95 each. Red, pink, and white Japanese magnolias, $6.95 each. Grow your own delicious blackberries from tie-tie's one-year plants, $1.95 each. Strawberry trees from tie-tie will feed your whole family. And don't forget, Tifton scientists have developed the king of berries for your garden. Tie-tie blueberry.
Welcome back. Rick's here with sports, and boy, I tell you, the FSU baseball team, they like to make it interesting.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. Last weekend's game, Friday night, 17 innings. Who stayed?
You.
For the whole thing. Almost traumatized me. It ended at 1:06 in the morning, but we did stay.
Wow.
And last night was no different. After the last week of action for Florida State baseball, Mike Martin might want to go ahead and put down a deposit for a pacemaker. Like last night was a perfect example. Down 5-3 in the 7th, the Noles had to rally back against, of all teams, the Jacksonville Dolphins. Until finally in the 9th, tied at 5, John Halladay ripped a homer to put an end to the madness. The Noles did need late inning heroics twice against Miami last weekend, but with Jacksonville sandwiched in before Miami again, they admit they might have been overlooking JU.
I think it was in the back of everyone's mind. I don't think you could play for Florida State and be playing Miami the following weekend and not think about that. So I think we might have taken it a little bit too much, taking them for granted.
JU's a good team. You know, when we go up against anybody in the state, we want to, play to our best ability because, we want to beat everybody that we play in the state, and we consider JU a rival. So, I'm sure there's some guys looking ahead to Miami, but we were pretty focused on last night's game.
Well, the controversy over the Confederate flag has given the state of South Carolina a bad name while costing them millions. Now the sports world is displaying their distaste. Last week, the state's college football coaches marched in protest. Now 2 prominent black athletes won't be participating there this weekend either. Tiger Woods didn't attend the MCI tournament in SC this weekend. Now tennis star Serena Williams is pulling out of the Family Cup Circle tournament to be held in Hilton Head as well. Williams, who is African-American, cited the flag's presence as the reason for her withdrawal. Tournament organizers now have taken notice.
And she's not coming, and the reason is because of the stop flying of the Confederate flag in the South Carolina State House. Very unfortunate. We don't like to see the politics and sports mixed like this, but we certainly have to respect her wishes and her feelings.
And now for our plays of the day. It's the first round of the NHL playoffs, so let's turn our attention to hockey. Stars taking on Edmonton in Game 1 scoreless in the second till this play. Look at that. Nutmeg between the legs and then the wrist shot, far side, all the way in the top corner. The poke pass between the legs and the goal. Everybody should be celebrating that one. So go ahead, guys, and say hi to the old folks for us, because this is your Blue Plate special edition of Plays of the Day. Well, coming up tonight at 5:30 and 6, our own Keith Bavaro will be filling in for Lee Gordon and be here to fill us in on the Seminoles baseball team's bout this weekend with Miami. They had a scare last night, like we told you. Can they pull off the sweep again, though, against the Canes? Stay tuned. And the FSU men's basketball team received their 4th commitment. Who is he, and what does Coach Robinson think of this crop? We'll let you know. And speaking of Seminoles, we've got more news on the draft. Why is Corey Simon the hottest commodity heading into the weekend, and who wants to move up to get him? We know, and you'll know if you'll watch later in sports.
Sounds good. All right, thanks, Rick. Well, imagine what a square would look like if one of the 4 sides was missing. Well, that's what folks in the small town of Bainbridge, Georgia, have been looking at for years. In today's feature at 5, we'll find out how this historical town is restoring the last stretch of the downtown square.
The charming town of Bainbridge, Georgia, is on a roll. After a $6 million renovation of its Decatur County Courthouse, city officials are now getting ready to restore this century-old hotel, which sits on the only part of the downtown square that has not been restored.
Break down all the buildings, tear down all the buildings, and you make parking lots. You make new buildings. You make new apartments. Well, hopefully, and thank the Lord, we didn't do that. We saved it. And
when finished, the historical building will house 6 storefronts and 7 upscale apartments. But that's not the only change coming. Just down the street, another stretch of vacant buildings from the early 1900s are also getting a facelift, making way for even more businesses in Bainbridge.
They are very excited. Once this is complete, the city will purchase another block in downtown Bainbridge to do the same thing to.
But while all this revitalization and restoration is just around the corner, proud residents say there's one thing that won't change.
Anybody that comes in here has always told us that they just love it. All you have to do is walk through that park, you know, and see. And the people are just like the park. They're just as pretty and friendly as that good old park.
And city officials expect the restoration project to be completed by the end of this summer. And don't go away. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this break.
This Eyewitness News program is closed captioned as a public service by WCTV and your local Dodge dealer.
Voted most popular, most trusted, most loved, most versatile, most likely to succeed. Minivan in its class. Now get up to $1,750 cash allowance on Dodge Caravans.
Maybe you've heard about the Colonel's Tender Roast Sandwich up the road at KFC, but you still haven't tried it? Somehow you've been able to resist that plump breast filet, deep marinated then slow roasted to seal in all that juicy taste. You might be surprised that any chicken sandwich can have this much flavor. So what are you waiting for?
How about we drop the price?
Okay, right now you can try the Tender Roast at a special Y-weight price, $1.99.
Your GM program car connection is now Ken Isaac Chevrolet Cadillac. This nearly new Chevrolet Malibu was $1930, but now is only $14,985.
Children's advocates and police in Valdosta spent their day checking to see how safe area children are riding around town. Today was designated Child Safety Day, part of National Victims' Rights Week in Lowndes County. Police and volunteers set up checkpoints throughout the city to make sure children were strapped in safely and correctly in their vehicles. Child safety supporters say the message of safety is one that shouldn't be taken for granted.
Our children are important to us. And in 1996, there were 66 Georgia children that were killed as a result of vehicle accidents. And if we can save one life, it's made it worthwhile.
Volunteers handed out trauma bears to kids in cars to help teach the children the importance of riding safely. Police officers in Valdosta are also helping people in need of transportation find a way to get around in Lowndes County. With the help of the Salvation Army, the Valdosta Police Department donated over